It's come to my attention that a lot of you have never heard of this country. This country is called Niger or Niger, depending on where in the world you are, and it's a country in West Africa with about 24 million people. It is a predominantly Muslim country, and they speak French, and they have an extremely rich culture. The etymology of the country happens to come from the Niger River, which is the same place where Nigeria actually derives its name. So the country has absolutely nothing to do with the namesake that you guys are providing to it. I get that most of it is jokes, but I figured I'd make this just in case somebody could learn something from it. Do you think you're special or just pretty average? Well, let's see. So 75% of the world has brown eyes and over 80% has black or dark brown hair. The average height for men is 5'7", and for women that dips to 5'3". The most common zodiac sign is Scorpio, so if your birthday falls from October 23rd to November 21st, then you'd fall within that group. ISFJ is the most common personality type, and the average person is an introvert with over 64% claiming to be so. 40% of people say blue is their favorite color, with green coming in second at 25%. The average IQ is 83, though that drastically differs by country, but interestingly, 60% of people can speak multiple languages, so sorry Americans. The average time spent on social media is around 3 hours per day, and then finally, 5 inches. This is how you can fall asleep in just 1 minute. It's called the 4-7-8 method, so you're going to want to start by getting in a comfortable position, so get set. Great, now start by breathing in through your nose for 4 seconds. Now hold your breath for 7 seconds. And then let out a massive exhale for 8 seconds. If you repeat this method a few times, then you should fall asleep within minutes, so good luck. These are some products that have gotten smaller over time, so let's see who's deceiving you. The recent Gatorade redesign may look more aerodynamic and sleeker, but it's actually 4 ounces smaller than its predecessor, so don't be fooled. Burger King and Domino's reduced the amount of chicken nuggets from 10 to 8 last year. I guess they didn't think we'd notice. Reese's Peanut Butter Cups sneakily dropped from 1.6 to 1.5 ounces, and most Pringles cans dropped from 5.5 to 5.2 ounces. Frito-Lay shrank Doritos by half an ounce. To justify this, the spokesperson said, "We took a little bit out of the bag so we can give you the same price." Not buying it. Crest 3D toothpaste shrunk from 4.1 to 3.8 ounces, and hefty garbage bags now include 80 bags instead of 90. Even pet food isn't safe, with Pedigree reducing the size of dry dog food from 50 to 44 pounds. And Royal Canin cat food dropped from 5.9 ounces to 5.1 ounces to account for the crazy pet food demand. These are some everyday objects that you never realized had a purpose. So that hole in your pen cap that you've likely noticed in school is actually meant to act as an airway to breathe through, since small kids have a tendency to choke on them. You may have noticed this arrow appearing on your gas gauge, and it actually tells you what side of the car your fuel tank sits on, so thank me later. On an airplane, if you ever see this tiny hole, have no fear. It's actually meant to allow airflow to stabilize the pressure, and it keeps the window from fogging up from the warm breath of all the passengers. These little silica gel packets inside of products help to preserve freshness by absorbing humidity in closed environments, so don't throw those out. The lines on a Solo cup actually represent different serving size of different alcohols. 1 ounce for hard liquor, 5 ounces for wine, and 12 ounces for beer. And lastly, this straw that comes with a McFlurry has no actual purpose for the consumer. It just serves as an attachment to the machine when it blends everything up, and then they just give it to you to minimize cleanup. Pretty cool, right? These are some products that originally had a different purpose. So the original purpose of Coca-Cola was to cure morphine addiction, which is why for almost 20 years, Coke contained coca leaf extract, the active ingredient in cocaine. 7-Eleven has a similar story, but with lithium. Listerine mouthwash was originally sold as a floor cleaner and surgical antiseptic, but then somebody, somehow, discovered that it cured bad breath, and so they rebranded as oral care. Play-Doh wasn't always meant to entertain children. It actually began as a wall cleaner, similar to the magic eraser. The Slinky wasn't always a toy, but rather a device to stabilize naval equipment in rough seas, and the Frisbee was invented as a pie container before taking flight. Viagra was originally intended to lower blood pressure, and then during clinical trials, the participants noticed some other massive changes. And then finally, chainsaws were originally meant to cut bones during operations, which makes me incredibly happy that I wasn't alive 200 years ago.